A very good afternoon, students. In the previous session, we have seen two of the rubbers, that is Buna S and the butyl rubber. Just let us recall how the Buna S rubber is synthesizing. Buna S rubber is synthesizing by the copolymerization process of 1,3-butadiene and styrene in the presence of sodium catalyst. And the second rubber was butyl rubber. Butyl rubber is also called as a GRI rubber. Government rubber isobutene, that is a full form of GRI rubber. And the butyl rubber or GRI rubber is synthesizing by the copolymerization of isobutene and isoprene. The isoprene is nothing but 2-methyl 1,3-butyl. So now let us see the last type of rubber. This is the silicone rubber. And silicone rubber is somewhat different to the remaining types of rubbers. And in silicone rubber, we are using only one monomer unit, and that monomer is dimethyl dihydroxysilicone. Dimethyl dihydroxysilicone or dialkyl dihydroxysilicone. And here in this example, I'm using dialkyl silicones, but we can use even trimethyl or monomethyl also. We can use monomethyl. Here R is nothing but methyl or alkyl here. Here we are having the two alkyl groups. This is called the dialkyl dihydroxysilicone. We can use even trialkyl or monoalkyl also in the preparation of silicon rubber. But here I am using dialkyl dihydroxysilicone. But these are not available in the laboratory. So initially we have to synthesize dihydroxy dialkyl silicon. So how we are going to synthesize dihydroxy dialkyl silicon? These are synthesizing due to reaction. This is due to the reaction of dichlorodialkyl silicones on hydrolysis process. So how the dihydroxy dialkyl silicones are synthesizing due to the hydrolysis of dichlorodialkyl silicones. So on hydrolysis, the chlorine groups are replacing with the OH minus ions. That means Cl minus are replacing with the OH minus ions. So in the place of Cl, we are having the OH minus ions. Now it is repeating for n number of times to synthesize the silicone rubber. But here I have mentioned the stepwise process. Initially only two, then these two are reacting with another, and these three are reacting with one more, like that I have mentioned here. So see here, when these two are reacting with each other, it is undergo condensational reaction. So you know what is meant by the condensation. Yesterday I explained you in the Becquerel process. What is condensation? There is a loss of water molecule or removal of water molecule. So when the water molecule is eliminating from between these two, we will get the O between SI, SiO, Si. See here, SiO, Si. Again, when it is reacting with one mole, again one more water molecule is eliminating. See, I will show now. So see here, this water molecule is eliminating. When this water molecule is eliminating, we will get the new bond between O and Si. See here. And again on hydrolysis, again on elimination of water molecule, condensation, SiO, Si. See here. Like that, we are getting this. So the final rubber is called the silicone rubber. This is called the silicone rubber. Yes. So this is the synthesis of silicone rubber. Now let us see the properties and applications of silicone rubber as compared to organic rubber. What are the organic rubbers here? Organic rubbers are the yesterday what we have seen, that is the butyl rubber and Buna-S rubber. Compared to the organic rubber, silicone rubber has SiO bonds in its structure, and hence it has better heat resistance, chemical stability, electrical insulation, abrasion resistance, weatherability, as well as ozone resistance. Yes. So why we are not calling the silicone rubber as the organic polymer or organic rubber? Because it is having the inorganic elements, silicon. Yes, so it is one of the inorganic rubber. It is not the organic rubber. And compared to the organic rubber, it is having the better properties, better physical properties. One is the heat resistance, chemical stability, electrical insulation, abrasion resistance, weatherability, and as well as ozone resistant. That means, but the remaining rubbers, that means the first one, Buna S rubber, it is having the ability to react with the ozone, but whereas the Buna S rubber, whereas the silicone rubber, it is having a more ozone resistance. And silicone rubbers can withstand the temperature ranging from minus 50 degrees centigrade to 350 degrees centigrade. That means it can bear the lower temperature as well as the higher temperature also. And parts made up of silicone rubber, when exposed to wind, rain, and UV rays for long periods, results in virtually no change in physical properties. That means it is not undergo any corrosion. There is no rust formation on the silicone rubber. But whereas the remaining rubbers, these can't bear this much of temperature, and these are not highly resistant to UV and the wind and the rain. Unlike most organic rubbers, silicone rubber is not affected by ozone as well. Yes. So these are the properties of silicone rubber. Now let us see the applications. Silicone rubber is special features are hence originated from its unique molecular structure, that they can carry both inorganic and organic properties, because it is having organic elements as well as inorganic elements. So because of that reason, it is having the blended characteristics. These are having the organic properties as well as the inorganic properties. With these unique characteristics, this is our structure of silicone rubber. SiO, Si is called the silicone here. With these unique characteristics, silicone rubber is widely used in industries such as aerospace, automotive, construction, medical, E&E, food processing, etc. So overall, silicone rubbers are used in various applications as elastomers, adhesives, sealants, coating, and encapsulating compounds, as well as in coating, lubricant, etc. So these are having the various multiple applications because of these properties. And commercial grade silicone rubbers were first introduced by Dow Corning in 1943. So today silicone rubbers are manufactured by several companies, but initially in 1943, Dow is one of the scientists. He has introduced the silicone rubbers. So these are about the applications and properties of the silicone rubber. So with this, we have completed the rubbers. So in rubber, we are having three rubbers. One is Buna S, butyl, and the silicone rubber. So now let us see the next topic, that is properties, applications, and preparation of fibers. So we have only plastics, fibers, and the rubbers. So already we have completed plastics and the rubbers. So today we are going to complete even fibers also. So with this, we can complete all the properties, applications, and the preparations. Fibers. So we have seen the plastics and the rubbers. But compared to plastics and the rubbers, fibers are having the more strength. These are the hardest materials. Whereas the rubber is having the elastic nature, it is not hard. And plastic also, it is able to heat, and we can even convert to the soft material and the hard metal by application of the heat. But whereas the fibers, these are the toughest materials. These are the strong materials. But why the fibers are more strong? Because of the strong intermolecular forces. There is a strong intermolecular forces between the two monomer units in the polymer chain. Because of that, fibers are very, very strong. Fibers are a class of materials that are continuous filaments on discrete elongated bases. They are crystalline, present in both plants and the animals. They are used for making textiles, ropes, utilities, strings, etc. So these are the various applications of the fibers. So we have only two fibers. One is nylon and another one is the Kevlar. Nylon and Kevlar both are the polyamides only. So first let us see what is polyamide resin. Polyamide is nothing but amide is repeating for n number of times. What is amide? C double bond O NH2 is called the amide. C double bond O NH2 is called the amide. It is repeating for n number of times in nylon 6, 6 and also in the Kevlar. Nylon is polyamide resin containing recurring amide groups in its structure produced by copolymerization of diamine with diacid. Both are polyamides. That is nylon 6, 6 and Kevlar. So both are synthesizing by the copolymerization. That is diamine and diacids. Depending on the number of carbon atoms in diamine and diacid, there are different types of nylons. Yes, we don't have only the single nylon, we are having the various nylons depending on the two monomer units. Depending upon the number of carbons in the each monomer units, the nomenclature will be changing. Nylon 6, 6, 6, 8, 6, 10, 6, 12, 6, 16. Yes, so we are having the various kind of nylons here. That is depends upon the number of carbons in the monomer unit. So where the first number indicates number of carbon atoms in diamine and the second number indicate the number of carbon atoms in the diacids. Where diamines and the diacids, these are the two different monomer units. Diamine is one monomer and diacid is the another monomer unit. The first number in 6, 6, diamine is having 6 carbons, diacid also having 6 carbons. But in the second case, in 6, 10, diamine is having 6 carbons, diacid is having the 10 carbons. So like that, the number is given in the nomenclature based upon the number of carbons in the first and the second monomer unit. So now let us move to the topic, that is nylon 6, 6. Nylon 6, 6 is prepared by the condensational polymerization of adipic acid and hexamethylene diamine in the absence of air. How it is synthesizing? It is synthesizing by the condensational polymerization of hexamethylene diamine and adipic acid. Hexamethylene diamine and adipic acid. So let us see what is hexamethylene diamine and adipic acid. Here there is a small mistake, CH2 not 4, CH2 6. Yes, hexamethylene. Methylene means CH2. This is methylene. Hexa means 6. Amine means NH2. So diamine means 2 NH2s. This is hexamethylene diamine. And adipic acid is also called as a tetramethylene dicarboxylic acid. You know what is methylene? CH2. Tetramethylene. Tetra means 4. Dicarboxylic acid. What is carboxylic acid? COOH. COOH. We are saying di, so 2 carboxylic acids will be there. So these two are undergo condensational polymerization. It is repeating for n times. It is also repeating for n times. What is condensational? There is a loss of water molecule. There is a removal of water molecule when the two monomers are adding. Yes. So we can write this NH2 as NH single bond hydrogen in the place of this 2. NH single bond hydrogen. And here also we can write NH single bond hydrogen. See this hydrogen and this OH is eliminating in the form of water molecule. When this water molecule is eliminating, we are getting the new bond between NH and C double bond O. And even this OH with other hydrogen. What is other hydrogen? This hydrogen, because it is repeating for n times alternatively. So the third H, the water molecule is eliminating. And this hydrogen with other OH is eliminating in the form of water molecule. Yes, so when the water molecule is eliminating, we are getting the NH. See here, NH. CH2 taken 6, not CH2 taken 4, CH2 taken 6. And NH, the single bond, they are getting the new single bond between NH and C double bond O. CH2 taken 4, C double bond O. Yes? Yes, but here we are having the 6. Here we are having the 6. Yes, remember that. Okay, so this is the preparation of nylon 6, 6. Okay, in nylon 6, 10, the first monomer is having 6 only, but the second monomer should be having 10. See here, 4 plus 2, 6. 4 plus 2, 6. But in the place of 4, we will be having 8 in nylon 6, 10. 8, 9, 10. Yes. So that is nylon 6, 10 monomer units. Yes. So this is about nylon 6, synthesis. Now let us move to the properties and applications of nylon 6, 6. So they are transient, whitish, horny, high melting power. They possess high temperature stability and good abrasion resistance. They have good strength. They are insoluble in common organic solvents. And applications, the major application is in textile industry. Because of its high thermal and abrasion resistance, nylons are used in mechanical engineered applications like gears, bearings, machine parts, where greater friction is there. And flexible tubing for conveying petrol, etc., and made from nylon. Nylons are used as electrical insulators and making tire, and also used in the automobile industry and telecommunication industry for making radiator parts and coil formers respectively. Yes, so these are the applications and properties of nylon 6, 6. So now let us see the next one, Kevlar. Kevlar also one of the polyamide similar to nylon 6, 6. But Kevlar is one of the aromatic polymer, whereas the nylon 6, 6 is the aliphatic and Kevlar is the aromatic. Maybe you know what is meant by the aromatic. Aromatic is nothing but which is having the aromatic compounds. So it is prepared by the condensational polymerization of terphthalic acid and 1,4 diaminobenzene in the absence of A. This is terphthalic acid dichloride, and this is 1,4 diaminobenzene. And from here, hydrogen, and from here, chlorine. HCl is eliminated. And from here, hydrogen, from the next monomer, chlorine. From here, chlorine and hydrogen. Those are eliminating in the form of HCl. Yes. So like that, HCl is eliminating in the Kevlar formation. So when Cl and H is eliminating, we're getting the new bond between C double bond O and NH. And even here also Cl is eliminating. And here also hydrogen is eliminating. So this is the preparation of Kevlar. So now let us see the properties and applications of Kevlar. Kevlar fiber has high breaking tenacity, which is several times that of steel wire. Yes. So what is the strength of the Kevlar? Kevlar is more strong than the steel. It is several times stronger than the steel. And it also has a much higher tensile modulus than steel wire, fiberglass. Kevlar fiber is inherently stable at relatively high temperature and has very small shrinkage at elevated temperature and low creep and high glass transition temperature. It is corrosion resistant, non-conductive, and resistant to most chemical except the strong acids and the bases. Except the strong acid and the bases, it is resistant to most of the chemicals. And applications of Kevlar. Kevlar is especially using in the brake pads, gaskets, engine gaskets, and in the clutches of the bikes, marine composites, aerospace, marine and rail components, automotive components, military helmets, ropes, and the cables. Not only in the military helmets, even general helmets are there. Even in that helmets also we are using the Kevlar. Yes. So these are about the preparation, properties and applications of uh, fibers, plastics and the resin. So with this, we have finished almost all the preparation properties and applications. So only 2 or 3 topics left in the polymers. One is conducting polymers and another one is a biodegradable polymers. So with that, we can finish third unit. Yes. So thank you so much, ma'am. So remaining we'll see in the next class.